Hey y'all, tonight we're gonna make homemade sloppy joes, but before I do that, I'm gonna make some homemade potato wedges. I made some like this when I made my fish and chips recipe, which was a couple of weeks ago, and I really liked how those wedges turned out, so I'm gonna do basically the same thing again. I'm gonna put in a tablespoon of olive oil, and oh, by the way, I cut up, it's about 5, they weren't real big russet potatoes, but I cut them into wedges. I didn't show that part. So anyways, I'm going to throw that in there. And then I'm going to put a teaspoon of minced garlic. This was the one thing I forgot to put in mine last time. And then I'm going to use this Old Bay seasoning. We're going to put 2 teaspoons of that. And what I'm going to do is this bowl has a lid. I forgot to get it. And I'm going to put the lid on here and we're going to shake this up. I'm going to shake them just a little bit more. Okay, I have my oven preheated to 400 and now I have my baking sheet right here. I'm going to go ahead and just spray some nonstick cooking spray on here. And then we will the pan. I'm just going to use my hands. Maybe I can mix up some of these at the bottom. But I think they're all pretty well coated. So I'm just using my hands because, I don't know, just easier. And then we're going to try our best to spread these out. And we're going to bake these for about 25 minutes. And then we'll flip them over, see how they're doing, and then cook them probably for another halfway we will flip them over. And then we'll probably cook them for another maybe 20 minutes. Because the way they did it when I did the fish and chips was you cooked it for 25 minutes with just the potatoes. And you flipped them once halfway, and then you added your fish and cooked it for another 15 minutes. So you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to cook them for 15 minutes. Then I will flip them and cook them for another 15, and we'll just kind of see how they look after that. Just trying my best to get them spread out. So I'm going to put these in the oven. Okay, y'all, I'm going to start cooking my hamburger meat. I'm going to do it a little bit different according to this recipe. I'm going to put about a tablespoon, I'm just kind of guessing, of olive oil. And I'm going to turn this pan on high heat. I'm going to let that warm up, and then I'm going to add my beef. But I'm going to show you what we're going to do different with the beef. And I'm actually doubling this recipe. This recipe was only for 1 pound of meat, but for us, making sloppy joes, 1 pound would not be enough. So I'm going to let this warm up, and then I will be right back. Okay, I'm going to put my meat in like this, just in the big block that it's in. And we're going to basically brown one side, and then we're going to flip it over and brown the other side, and then we will start breaking it up. That way it gives it more of a hamburger consistency. I am going to throw a little seasoning on here real quick, at least on this this side. I'm going to use my Trader Joe's 21 seasoning salute that I really like, just for some extra seasoning. So we're going to let that side brown, and then I'm going to flip it over. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, I was about to flip my fries over, but it's time to flip the meat. I had turned on my... Okay, y'all, I'm doing a voiceover on this part here because the kids had came home from school. I had to go unlock the front door, and then Courtney was telling me a bunch of stuff, and then Bryce was telling me a bunch of stuff, and I kind of lost what I was doing. I thought I had the camera aiming on the tray of wedges. I left the meat over there so the other side could burn. The other side could get browned. And then I was flipping all the potato wedges over so that I could put them back into the oven for another 15 minutes. And I kind of dropped the camera there a little bit. But anyway, so that's what I was doing there. And they were talking to me, so I needed to do a voiceover. Okay, the house was way too loud, so I'm going to do voiceovers here. So the meat was now getting pretty brown, so I started breaking it up, and I went ahead and added in some chopped up onions, and I'm just going to cook those onions in with this ground beef. And now, like I said, you just start breaking it up, and you'll notice the pieces that kind of browned more. It actually did give it like a good flavor and a good texture. I like this. I think I'll do that again when I make sloppy joes. And this sloppy joe recipe was a hit, which you'll see in the reactions. I'm going to save this one because it's hard for me to find one that my husband likes, because he really liked the sloppy joe brand or whatever of sloppy joe mix that was in a can, and I cannot find it anymore. Some people said I could get it on Amazon. I haven't even really checked because it's probably going to be overpriced. And the manwich, for some reason, he's kind of allergic to something in it. It makes his throat kind of irritated or something. So anyways, I will stop talking now and we will finish cooking up this meat. Okay, y'all, our meat has been cooking a while. I've gotten most of the grease out. There's a little bit still left. Turn this down a little bit. Now we're going to add in 3 cloves of garlic. And if you're using the kind that's already minced up, a half a teaspoon equals about a clove. So I'm going to put 3 half teaspoons, and we're going to stir that in, let it cook for about a minute, and then we'll start adding in the other ingredients. Okay, now we're going to start adding in our other ingredients. So we need a tablespoon of tomato paste. We also need 2 teaspoons of yellow mustard. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to be doubling this. So I need to add another tablespoon of... I'm going to move this off the heat while I'm adding all this stuff in. Sorry, y'all. Okay, since I'm doubling this, I need to add another tablespoon of tomato paste. And I will have the original recipe linked down below. And now, since I'm doubling this, I need 4 teaspoons of yellow mustard. So 2, 3, and 4. And I need a total of 4 tablespoons of ketchup. So I'm just going to use this same tablespoon here. 1, 2, 3. I need a tablespoon of packed brown sugar. Actually, 2 tablespoons. Once again, keep forgetting, I'm doubling it. 1, 2. Okay, and then I need a total of 4 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire. Well, actually, sorry, 2, because we're doubling it again. 2 of those. And then we need to put in some salt and pepper. We need about a half a teaspoon of pepper because I doubled it. And about a teaspoon of sugar. So put, not sugar, a teaspoon of salt, sorry. There we go. Okay, and I need 2 8-ounce cans of tomato sauce, which I almost forgot about. So let me get another can of it to add. One more. I also need to add in, it says it's optional, but 2 teaspoons of hot sauce. I think I'm going to do like just, I don't know, maybe just 1. This is a half a teaspoon. I'm going to move this back over here to the heat so I can start. Okay, my battery died, but Adrian added in the second
thing of thingy-bobbers.
Of tomato sauce. So now we're going to stir this up, get it all warmed up, and let it kind of thicken, and then it'll be ready. And my potatoes, I'm going to check those again in just a minute and see if they're getting done. I also made some of the suddenly salad. So much more. Adrian added more. Anyways, some suddenly salad. The bacon ranch, I believe. Yeah, I made that earlier today and just had it set in the refrigerator so it could be cold. So I'm making sure one more time that I got everything in. So I'm gonna let that warm up and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is thick enough now. I don't want to get it much thicker. So my potatoes I'm about to take out of the oven. I think they should be done. I put them in there for another 5 minutes. We're going to start setting the table and we'll let you know what we think. Hey Bryce, we're going to start with you. You're on your second Sloppy Joe, so how do you like it? Good. All right.
Very good.
Courtney, what do you think about it? Do you approve?
It tastes like our other sloppy joes.
But it's homemade. This
But
isn't
good.
from a can or from nothing. It's homemade.
And the pop potatoes are bubblies.
They're not really. They're good,
yeah.
but they're a little bit
Stop.
soft. Yeah. Okay, Adrian. He's feeling better now. How's the food? Are you just now taking a bite of it?
No.
Oh.
That was my second bite.
Oh, your second bite. I thought you had a second one. Do you like it? His lips
Yeah.
are chapped, so his lips are burning. So you like it though? All right. And honey, what do you think? Yay, 2 thumbs. Good deal. So I'm gonna have to remember this Sloppy Joe because he liked. I'm gonna turn around and show you on my face. Just don't be scared. He liked the Sloppy Joe brand in the can, but I can't find it anymore. And the Manwich has something in it that he's allergic to. So
Mom.
I have to keep this as a keeper.
It's not Christmas anymore.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing a Christmas sweatshirt. My friend Yonita gave me this last Christmas.
And Christmas pajamas.
Oh, and then I have pajamas on that are Christmas. Hey, I celebrate it all year long. Plus I got those on sale at Walmart, like $2, weren't they? Yeah, $2. Hey y'all, welcome to tonight's What's for Dinner. I'm going to be making a cheesy ground beef and rice casserole, and I decided to pre-cook my rice. I have 1 cup of rice, a tablespoon of butter, and 2 cups of water, and I added 2 beef bouillons because on the recipe they cooked their rice with beef broth, so I put a beef bouillon in here. And now that it has came to a boil, I'm going to turn it down, let it simmer, and cover it, and let it cook for about 15 minutes. And that way I don't have to cook it with the meat and stuff. You can do it the other way too, but I just decided to pre-cook mine. So we're gonna let that cook, and then I'm gonna get everything ready so that we can start on the actual dish once this is done. Okay, y'all, got my rice done, so I'm just going to set it over here to the side, and then I'm going to move y'all this way. I'm going to move y'all over here to my pan where my meat is, and let me zoom out. Oop, not zoom in. So I have a pound of hamburger meat, and I'm going to season that up. I'm going to put a little salt and pepper in there to start out. It's kind of whatever you think would be what you like. No specific measurement on this. And I'm going to do this recipe, like I said, a little bit different than what the recipe called for. I'm using all of the same ingredients. I'm just kind of doing it a little different, and that's okay. I'll have the actual recipe linked down below. It calls for 1.5 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. I'm using a 1/2 teaspoon here, so 3 of those. And we're going to I went ahead and put those seasonings in so that they can kind of cook into the meat. So I'm going to start browning this meat, and then a little bit I'm going to add, actually, you know what, I'm going to add them right now. It called for 3/4 of a cup of diced onions. So put that in there. And just let it all cook together. And when the meat is just about done, I'm going to add in some garlic, some real minced garlic. But I'm just going to kind of wait on that because I don't know if it's true or not. I heard it's better to wait on that till the end. So that's what I'm going to do. So we'll let this brown up and I'll be right back. Y'all, I'm going to go ahead and add a little more seasoning. I'm going to take my Trader Joe's 21 seasoning salute because I just love this. And I feel like I don't want this to be too bland. So we're just going to sprinkle some of that in there. And if y'all have a Trader Joe's around y'all, I recommend that. Some people said you could order it off of Amazon. I don't know how much it costs on there. Actually, a friend of mine sent this to me because I've never been to Trader Joe's. There's not one near me, and I probably have to go 100 miles or more to get to one. So, but I enjoy my seasoning. It's probably one of my favorite like seasoning mixes for like meat and stuff. Okay, y'all, I have gotten I've just about gotten all the grease out of here. I just used the paper towel method. So if you don't know what that is, it's just where you take a paper towel and you kind of run it along in there to soak up some of the grease. This meat is pretty lean, so it's not too greasy. So now I'm going to take, oops, well, there's a little bit extra. Oh, there's a lot of water. Hold on. Okay, I have a tablespoon of minced garlic. So it's a little bit watery, so I was trying to get some of the water out of it. So kind of let that cook for a minute or so. Okay, I'm going to turn this all the way down on low. Now we're going to add in our rice that I've already cooked, or if you haven't, you would need to cook your rice separately, because I thought it was all in one pan, but you would cook the rice in the same pan that you cook your meat in. You would just remove your meat and then cook the rice in there with the onions and the garlic, which I didn't do that, but anyways, we're going to do it this way. So we're adding in our rice. Like I said, I'll have the link down below for the actual recipe. And we're going to add in 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. This also called for a can of mushrooms, but I do not like mushrooms. Cream of mushroom soup, the mushrooms are so tiny that it doesn't bother me, but big chunks of mushroom, I don't know. It's something about the consistency. I don't know. I can't eat big mushrooms. They have to be really small, cooked into something. And then we're also going to add in a half a cup, ooh, I'm spilling it, a half a cup of milk and a half a cup of sour cream and 1 cup of cheese, just cheddar cheese. And we're going to stir all that up together. Stir this up real good. And I preheated my oven to 350. I forgot to tell y'all that. And I'm going to just serve salad, and I'm going to make some Sister Schubert rolls on the side because Courtney's been requesting those, and I thought, well, that would kind of go good with it. Salad and rolls. And so, this easy weeknight meal. Make sure it's all mixed together good. Okay. Okay, y'all, got my 9 by 13 inch pan. Like I said, it's, or I don't know if I said it, but I sprayed it with some cooking spray. And we're going to pour this in. And we're going to spread this out. I think I hit my camera. It might have moved. Spread that out real good. And now I have another cup of cheese that we're going to sprinkle on top. And then you're going to want to cover this with foil and bake for about 20 minutes. Hopefully I have another roll of foil over here because that one just ran out. Just going to cover that up tightly. And then it's like too much foil. Almost got enough to cover it that time too. Oh well. Cover this up, put it in the oven. Cook it for 20 minutes, and y'all, I kind of cheated and I took a little bite of, or I licked my spoon and it tasted good, so I can't wait to taste it when it's all baked and everything. So, see y'all in 20 minutes. Well, in a second. Okay, y'all, it's been in there a little over 20 minutes. It looks so good. I'm gonna let it sit here while I finish my rolls that are in my little toaster oven. I have the Sister Schubert rolls. They'll be ready in a few more minutes. And then I'm going to get my salad out and we're going to sit down and we'll let you know what we think. Adrian, you done ate all yours. What do you think of it?
Pretty darn good.
It is. What about you, Bryce?
I like it.
And then Courtney, this is the one that we have to see about. But she's not a rice eater, but
It's pretty good, and the rolls are the bomb.
she's been wanting these rolls, so she doesn't eat. She's on her second roll. You need to eat all that food right there in your plate. Look at all that. I think it's good, y'all. This was easy. It was not really hard to make, and it's actually pretty flavorful. I give it a thumbs up. I'd give you 2, but I'm holding the camera. So yeah.
Wait.
What? Oh, I'll use Courtney's and mine. My husband's working, so he's not here to give his opinion, but I think he would like it. Alrighty. Hey y'all, good morning. It's actually 10:30 when I'm starting my recipe for tonight's What's for Dinner. We're gonna be making a crock pot chicken and stuffing. So what I have is my crock pot here, and I sprayed the inside of it with some cooking spray. And I have 4 chicken breasts. It was actually 2, but I cut them in half. I've got 4 chicken breasts that we're going to season up right over here. I have a mixture of 1.5 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, and then I put a couple pinches of salt and pepper in there. So I'm going to season up my chicken, and then we're going to lay it into the bottom of, into the bottom of my crock pot. And I'm just going to use my hands and just kind of sprinkle on the front and the back of the chicken. And I put it into that little separate bowl, the seasoning, so that I could do this. So I could put my hands in and out of it, because it's all going to go on the chicken anyway. So we're going to, and the first piece, I did not, these were really big chicken breasts. My friend Tamara, I've known her forever. She works at the meat market here. And I told her I needed 2 chicken breasts. 2 big ones. She got me some big ones. So anyways, hey Tamara, if you're watching. She says she watches me, so hey. We're going to just put these along the bottom. Get them all seasoned up. And this recipe called for some fresh green beans, 2 cups of those. I did not have any, and I didn't buy any, so we're just leaving those out. But I will leave, like I said, I always leave the recipe, if I'm able to, down in the description box. So you can follow the exact recipe if you want, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So, almost done. So, get this one down in there now. And I'll take what's left and just kind of go over all these and sprinkle it. Now I'm going to quickly wash my hands. Okay, now I'm back. My hands are frozen solid because it is like 29 degrees outside, and takes our water a little while when I turn it on to heat up. Whoo, so my hands are freezing. That water is so cold. Okay, whoo, look at them, they're red. Let me flip to my next page and I'll tell you what we're gonna do next. Okay, now I'm gonna get a large bowl, and we're gonna I'll move this out of the way. Okay, we're gonna take our large bowl, and we're gonna start putting the rest of our ingredients in. So we're gonna take a box of, I got the chicken flavored stuffing. You need a 6-ounce box. So we're gonna empty that into there. And then we have a can of cream of chicken soup. Put that in there. And then it called for 1 cup of sour cream. But my container of sour cream was, I guess, I thought I had more than I did. But I was only able to fill this up about halfway. So I used some of this Chobani, just non-fat, just plain Greek yogurt, and it was able to fill up the rest of this container. So I have a total of 1 cup. So you can do that. Actually, if you use the Greek yogurt, I think it's a little bit more healthy or less fattening than sour cream. And it actually worked out that I had that. And then the recipe called for 3/4 of a cup of chicken broth. So what I did was I heated up 3/4 a cup of water, and then I added in some of this chicken bouillon here. And you use 1 teaspoon for every 1 cup of water. So I just kind of measured out what I thought was close to 3/4 of a teaspoon. So I took this half and did 1, and then about half of this. So I mixed it up, and you're only gonna need about half of that. So let's see if I can You're only going to use half for this part. So let's see if I can do that. Okay. I believe that's it, right? So we need the soup, the sour cream, the stuffing, and half that. Okay. Now we're going to mix all this together. Okay, now we're going to add the stuffing to our crock pot. Now we're just going to spread it around over the chicken. Now, if you were going to add in green beans, you would put them on now, but I'm not going to. So, okay, I was wondering why it only told me to use half of the chicken broth. So, like I said, you would put the green beans on top. If that's what you're going to do. You can cook this on high for 4 hours or low for 6 to 7. So serve with mashed potatoes, gravy, biscuits, whatever. And then it just says if you if you prefer additional moisture, add the rest of the chicken broth, stir and heat for an additional 10 minutes. If you want firmer stuffing, you'll leave the lid off the crock pot for the last 30 to 40 minutes of cooking. It says use foil to cover the chicken to keep it moist, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to do that. So basically what I'm going to do is just cover this up, and I'm going to cook mine on low for the 6 to 7 hours, which will be perfect for me. And I'm just going to take that chicken broth, I'm going to put it in a little container, and I'll kind of see how it looks, if I need to add it or not. So we're going to cover this, and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, y'all, this has been cooking now for, let's see, at least 6.5 hours or more. So I'm going to take a fork and just kind of see. I guess I need to check mainly the chicken down in there. Make sure it's... I'm going to take a little taste of this chicken. Mmm. Ooh, that's hot. I'm going to put it on keep warm. Cover it back up. We're not going to eat just yet. Oops. I'm going to keep it on keep warm. I'm going to make some mashed potatoes and corn and some rolls, just instant. And I'll come back and show you everything. I'll check it again right before we eat and decide if I want to add in that extra chicken broth. I don't think I'm going to need to once I stir this up, but I'll let y'all know. Okay, y'all, we are going to make easy sides. So I've got a can of corn, and I always like to add a tablespoon of butter. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to add in a little bit of heavy whipping cream. So I'll pour a little bit of that in there, not a lot. We'll see how that looks. And we'll just warm this up. I'm also going to make a package of these Idaho instant buttery homestyle mashed potatoes, and I'm going to make up this chicken gravy. So I'm going to get all that together, and I'm also going to throw in a few of the Sister Schubert rolls into the toaster oven. And we will be back. I'll show you everything once I get it all finished. Okay, y'all. Got that ready. I also made, like I said, the chicken gravy. And see the cream? It thickened up in there. And then our instant potatoes.
Mom, look, Stormy.
Over here we have our bread. And Stormy, you go back in there.
She has 2 paws over the one.
Go back in there. Go in there. Sit. Okay. She's not an inside dog, but it's so cold. We've been letting her come in, and she stays in her kennel at night. But I don't let her come in the kitchen because she sheds. So she knows to stay there. But anyways, we'll get everything ready, and we'll let you know what we think. All right, Courtney. How do you like the food?
Rolls are the best.
Her and her rolls.
Rolls are the best. I don't like corn. Potato and chicken, everything's good.
Okay. Adrian.
Mr. Ford.
I can give you more potatoes.
Oh, no.
What do you think of the food?
Real good.
It's good. We went and got drinks at Sonic, so I think it's good. It was real easy to make, and it's really good. So,
Yeah.
recommend it. Easy meal, easy weeknight meal. Thank y'all for watching.